personality, Mr. Mark Christopher!
Thank you, Cheryl. She never gets a chance to do that. Okay, raise your hands, you older kids. Who was here 50 years ago? Okay, 50 years ago you had a little more energy. Can you give me that energy of 50 years ago? You know, it's fun to look through your eyes right now. I was born and raised right up on that hill at Queen Anne. The youngest of 7 kids. Mark, you're too young. You don't understand this thing called the Beatles. We'll tell you about it when we get home. So all the older siblings came down and hung out at the Seattle Center. It's fun to see your smiles. It's fun that you're here tonight. Thank you so much. One thing I've always treasured about this great city in this area, and if you're from Tacoma and Everett, and some of you came from Bellingham and North Bend, I heard some people are up from Portland, even Vancouver, BC, is the fact we make a big deal about special occasions. And one thing I'm finding out in life right now is we want those experiences. So good for you, Mom and Dad, for bringing the kids to share this tonight. You can feel the energy. Can you imagine 50 years ago right now, the Beatles had been in town for just a few hours. They checked in at the Edgewater Hotel. Thousands of kids were up here trying to figure out how to tell Mom and Dad it's going to be okay. I'll call you when I'm done with this concert. We're going to be safe. There were a few boys there. There were a few adults there. Fun of the Edgewater Hotel is back in the 70s as I was thinking about a radio career. I worked down there as a food server. Don Wright, the manager of the Edgewater in '64, was still there. It was fun to learn the actual stories and behind the scenes of the Beatles at that hotel. Seattle was number 3 of 29 performances of the Beatles in '64. We were the only hotel in that tour that was not trashed by Beatle fans. Now, some of you have seen the work we did at KCTS9 with the World's Fair and their tribute a couple of years ago, and the fact that the Edgewater was built there for the World's Fair to help assist some of the guests that were coming to town. It was some housing, and then we thought, let's do a hotel. It was not supposed to survive the 60s, and manager Don Wright knew that. They needed a boost because some of the salaries of the employees there, let's just say, not enough customers to support that. Then came an idea of putting a rock and roll group in the Seattle Center Coliseum, now the Key Arena. What better than to put them in a hotel that was only 2 years old? That's what saved the Edgewater. Anybody here from the Edgewater Hotel tonight? Yeah? No, they're dealing with a guest in room 272, the Beatles suite. It went for $800 to be there tonight. A very special night indeed. Yes, the Beatles. Room 272 was there for a $20 bill. You slipped it in my pocket back in the 70s, I would give you a tour. Known fact, that toilet has not been flushed since Ringo sat on it. Some of the stories we heard, many of you will probably share to confirm later on that we're still learning. 2 girls swam over from West Seattle in the cold water of Elliott Bay to try to get up in the Edgewater Hotel. There was a woman who was at the switchboard. Boyfriend worked at the Space Needle. Later that night after the concert, even though McCartney had fear of heights, he and Ringo managed to get a car with her to go meet the boyfriend. They went on top of the Space Needle. No one ever knew that story. Anybody have a piece of the carpet? They cut up the carpet 1 inch square and they sold it. Good for you to still have it. You won't believe the price. Oh, you have a friend that still has it? Yes. Yep, they had the contest and the whole bit. Yeah. Everybody hear that? Of course you don't. Okay. Yeah, it was so cool. So anyway, pieces of the carpet were sold. They also took the bed sheets out of the hotel room, the bed, the dressers, and everything, moved them to other rooms at the hotel so they wouldn't be stolen. Is that a great idea? Okay, where you're sitting right now, 50 years ago, it was a madhouse. Seattle Center Coliseum, 2 years old. The great thing about Seattle and the World's Fair, we were one of the only cities that we put money in the bank, $1 million. So we decided, let's create a venue and a fun place to hang out. Thank you, Seattle Center. Look what we get to do 50 years later. More of the excitement in a moment, but for right now, we can't do anything like this without the support of the community. You're number 1, of course, for being here. And don't you love it when those events are free? I do. The reason why is we got very special people. One type of people that are around right now to a reminder of the fact that we have some generosity needed in the community, not so much a handout, but a hand up. Ladies and gentlemen, our friends from Northwest Harvest, we'd like to bring on here to help us out and understand the needs. Todd Gerard of Northwest Harvest. Look at that, still has the hair of 50 years ago. Welcome, Todd.
Thank you, sir. How's everybody doing? Beatles forever! Woo! thank you very much. I can't believe it's been 50 years. Seems like it was only yesterday. And today. Just want to, who here has heard of Northwest Harvest? Real quick, because I only have like 30 seconds. Thank you very much for supporting us over the years. We have so many supporters. We've been around since 1967, Summer of Love, Sgt. Pepper's album. And we feed a lot of people. 67 cents, you might have seen on some of the signs around, the folks that have buckets that are looking for donations if you're so inclined. 67 cents will feed a family of 3. How do we do it? You guys. You donate food, you donate money, and we make it happen. So just think about that the next time you're ordering a latte. Sorry, I don't mean to guilt trip anybody, but that's a lot of food, that's a lot of meals. So thank you very much. I want to thank Crème Tangerine and the Seattle Center for hosting this and for making us a part of this. And enjoy the show, and I know a splendid time is guaranteed for all. Thanks, guys. Who's next?
Okay, Todd, get a haircut. Okay, we couldn't do it again without a community. One thing I got so very, very excited about a couple of years ago when these guys came to town. Come on. With the contributions this area has done for rock and roll, from groups like The Ventures, Mary Lee Rush, Paul Revere and the Raiders, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Sir Mix-a-Lot. Welcome to Seattle Hard Rock Cafe. Aaron Hobbs, come on out here. Thank you for being a sponsor tonight to help us celebrate and have an experience of 50 years of Beatles Seattle. Aaron.
All right, as soon as we got asked to participate in this awesome event, we jumped on board. It's so cool that so many people in the audience were here 50 years ago. I absolutely wish that I could say the same thing. As you know, Hard Rock is all about the music. We're also about delicious food and drinks, but we're a lot about the music. And we have a lot of support for local artists. Crème Tangerine will actually be back in our cafe November 15th. So if you love them tonight, which you will, you should check them out then in November. And we've got a lot of other really incredible artists who are coming on up. So check out our website, come and support local music. And thank you very much for being here.
If you have yet to be at the Hard Rock Cafe down there on Pike Street, just right across from the market, one thing they did is they wanted local connection to the music scene. So if you want to see items of Jimi Hendrix and the Ventures and the Kingsmen and Heart, they are listed as priority for all the memorabilia on the wall. So get down to the Hard Rock. And you know what? The menu's pretty good too. Okay, before I go on, this was just a wonderful treat. Not everybody does this, but our own dear mayor of the city of Seattle made sure I got a proclamation. Whereas the Beatles made their Washington State premiere at the Seattle Center Coliseum, now Key Arena, on August 21st, 1964. At this very minute, they hit the stage. The first concert to take place at the Coliseum, life would change for Seattle's music scene. Whereas Beatlemania swept Seattle in the days before Fab Four's actual creating such hysteria by the evening of their sold-out performance of screaming fans prevented many from even hearing each selected song, whereas the Beatles and their presence in Seattle continue the civic excitement and the idealism following the wonderful 1962 World's Fair, confirming the city's place in global popular culture, whereas the Beatles inspired countless local musicians to contribute to the music of that day, laying a foundation for musical movements and so many for which Seattle has earned its renown. Now therefore, I, Edward B. Murray, Mayor of Seattle, do hereby proclaim August 18th through the 23rd, 2014 to be in our city. Ladies and gentlemen, a cheer for 50th anniversary week of Beatles' visit to Seattle. Share this with your friends as we get back into the dog days of summer and the heat that's coming on, which tonight's kind of eerie. For those of you who are there, pretty much the same weather. Okay, here's the kind of fun Seattle Center has going on. For those of you who remember Laserium, they now call it the Laser Show. There's a Beatles-themed laser show going on. Oh yeah, let's be kids again, right? If you walk by the International Fountain, Beatles music, non-stop of all the albums in sync with the fountain. It gave me chills to walk by that today and looking over at the Coliseum, okay? There's a big event happening at McCall Hall this Saturday. It's called Get Back, 50 Years of the Beatles Remembered in Seattle, hosted by Pat O'Day. Contributions from many local artists here. I know some members of Heart will be there, Goo Goo Dolls, and many others. Get a ticket. It's going to be, I guarantee, it's going to be one of those events you're going to think, yeah, pretty cool, but then if you were there, it's going to give you that, oh wow, I should have been there. Be there Saturday night at McCall Hall. If you go into the Armory, formerly the Food Circus, bunch of Beatles specials going on there when it comes to food. It's just everything Beatles. Have a look at seattlecenter.com for more. 50 years ago, the Beatles were on stage here. We were not prepared for a concert in the Coliseum. Before that, as you remember, a lot of the concerts were at the Armory, okay? We had it at the Spanish Castle, okay? Lake Hills, and many other areas out of the bounds of the city of Seattle, so mom and dad wouldn't find us. But to put a rock and roll concert over here at the Seattle Center Coliseum, who could even plan the kind of sound system? Here's why you didn't hear it, ladies. If you're going to a wedding here anytime soon, that sound system of that band is equivalent to what the Beatles worked with at the Coliseum. Carlson Sound here in Seattle confirmed, Mark, it was no more than 3,000 watts. At one point of the concert, Pat O'Day, who was the MC and at the time with 95 KJR, was watching George Harrison taking his plug to his guitar. Pat, they can't even hear me, it doesn't matter. Okay, and this was a situation wherever they went. But tonight, some of you who were there 50 years ago are going to actually hear every song. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the memory. If you're here for the first time and never heard any Beatles music before, who better than to give you an experience than Seattle's best Beatles experience, song for song, note for note, as it happened, and an extra, I promise you. Ladies and gentlemen, good friends of mine, and soon to be yours if not already, here is Crème Tangerine!
How you guys doing? All right, so are we. You ready to rock out? Woo! Do we have any Beatles fans in the audience tonight? All right, we're in the right place then. We are going to do the original set that the Beatles did here 50 years ago. Are you guys ready? You guys ready? All right, here we go.
Twist and shout.
We can't believe that we have this opportunity to celebrate this with you.
Being here again, Crème Tangerine, and on this momentous occasion, we'd like to do one more song. And I'd like to just, if I could, just start this with the 4 most famous words in rock and roll. Would that be okay?
Please do.
All right, I'm getting touched right now, but I'm just gonna shed a tear. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's hear it for the Beatles! For the Beatles!